start.
going to do it,
Yeah, you start, Sarah.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Crossways, and then I'll talk to you about our lovely dancing Queen Rose. So Crossways is a 40-bedded nursing home. We do have some intermediate care beds, but we're predominantly nursing permanent. We do dementia care, end-of-life care, and we have quite complex cases as well. Before the health and wellbeing review, we did have quite a good setup anyway, so we did used to have a weekly round, but it's much longer now, much more in detail. But the lady I'm going to tell you about, it has happened since the health and wellbeing round, but it's not a negative, but it's something that sort of will not happen again due to the health and wellbeing round. So Rose came to us in 2014. She was a lady with dementia and she had very bad paranoia. She was very aggressive towards her family and the people around her. We had the challenging behaviour team involved. They helped us a little bit and put a care plan in place, and she responded very well to music. So any parties, I mean, you'll see our home covered in photos of Rose everywhere dancing, because she would if she was distressed, she'd put some music on, she'd start dancing. She was good. She loved to have sweets. We got to know her really well. She had the best suntan in the world, because all summer she'd sit out in the garden with her trousers rolled up, laying in the sun. So we got to know her really well, and we got to know her family really well. We had an advanced care plan for her. We had everything in place. Just before Christmas, she started to deteriorate a little bit. She was not eating very well, but not enough so that we would call the doctor out. So we had her down for the round, which was, unfortunately, was Christmas Eve. We were having a Christmas party, and Rose being our party animal, we had to have her there. So when Dr. Crutchlow visited, we were like, oh, well, we want you to see Rose, but the party's going on at the moment. She's in with the daughter, we'll leave it now. Unfortunately, 5 days later, Rose passed away. And when we look back at the records, she hadn't actually been seen face to face for over 3 months. We've done lots of things by telephone, and so unfortunately it had to go to the coroner, which was really distressing for the families. It was all over Christmas, and the funeral was delayed, and it wasn't very nice for everybody. It wasn't nice for us either, because we're all about great end-of-life care, and that's all about aftercare as well, and it just seemed to drag up for a long time. But now what we do differently is now the residents are all seen regularly. We've got like a spreadsheet now in place which we tick off, so everybody's seen. It's roughly everybody about every 6 weeks, isn't it? So that was from our side of it. So hopefully, following what happened with dear Rose, that it won't happen again. But I'll hand you over to Dr. Crutchlow for his side of it.
I mean, I think the thing we probably pick up from doing the rounds this way that we weren't before, we'd always had a system of sort of informally reviewing, in as much as sort of standing in the lounge and saying, yeah, we've seen them, and just writing a line. That's sometimes all you have to do. Because Rose was quite a mobile lady, she wasn't generally in the lounge, she wasn't in a room if you wandered around that floor. I didn't quite know where she usually was. I remember at least one occasion where we tried to see her and couldn't find her at all, I think. So that slightly ad hoc system, which generally works, did break down here. I think it also then probably wasn't helped by the fact it was during the middle of the Christmas period. It was the year where my working days and the bank holidays coincided, so I think by the time I found out on New Year's Eve afternoon, the coroner's officers had already gone and so on, so it was just all quite slow. Although interestingly, the coroners did allow me to issue a certificate eventually, which is an interesting point for GPs here, because I was quite confident of essentially what had happened. So yeah, this is just really a way of systematising dealing with those occasional fairly well patients, because I think 6 months ago I'd seen her repeatedly because of cellulitis. Actually, once we dealt with that, she was fine for a long time. And of course, when you've got quite a mixed home like Crossways, we're often putting a lot of our time into a small number of end-of-life patients who, by the very nature of that care, turn over quite fast. And I think it's perhaps a reminder that this kind of lady, if you're not systematic, can get slightly forgotten about because she's well, and we've got several people who are well. There are some residents who still predate the first round I did in Crossways in 2009, So very well done, everybody who's kept them going. But, yeah, so the reason that we could do that sort of thing with the health and wellbeing round is, again, having enough time at the end of the round to have the conversation about this sort of thing. I'm not sure that we necessarily see any more people by doing it this way, but I now actually, when I finish seeing them, can have a conversation and sort some things out, rather than race off knowing that my first afternoon patient is probably already waiting. That's been a big difference for us.
Great, thank you.